Most intermediate guitarists are stuck playing stiff, scale-like solos, even if they've spent years memorizing caged, chord, arpeggio, and scale shapes. Here's the truth. Just knowing your scales isn't enough. The CAGED system is a great roadmap for the fretboard, but it won't help you sound musical unless you know how to actually use it in a musical context. In this lesson, I'll show you 5 simple and powerful ways to break out of robotic, scaly playing and start making real music using caged shapes. Let's jump in. As always, you can download the backing tracks and diagrams from the link in the description. So today, let's play in the key of D. I've got a nice little 1 to 4 groove, and that's D major to G major. So step 1, if you're just getting started with caged soloing, don't use the full 7-note scale. So what you want to do is start with the pentatonic version of each shape. And why is that? Because the pentatonic scale is more forgiving and it sounds great over nearly every chord. It also limits your note choices in a good way. So less notes equals more focus, which equals better phrasing. Let me show you how this works using the C shape in D major. And I'm really just going to use the notes here in that position between the 2nd and 5th frets. Notice how I am not just running the pattern up and down, right? I'm staying in time and I am connecting to the groove and I'm trying to make, short but memorable kind of phrases. Also, I am staying away from spending too much time on the thicker strings. You will be getting glared at by the bass player because you are in their territory. But even with a limited range of notes, you can make great music if you're intentional. And that will remain the same in any shape that you decide to play in. So let's look at moving it up into the A shape using that same key of D major. So one thing that I try to do right away if I'm playing in any of these shapes is I try to decorate. And that, might be a little slide. One of the coolest ways to not even have to overthink it is to just slide from a half step below any note of the scale. This is always applicable, and it flavors up the boring scale shape right away. Step number 2. Once you're comfortable making music with the pentatonic version of whatever cage shape that you're in, you can start to decorate it by using the 2 remaining notes from the 7-note major scale. But don't just cram them in. Use them like seasoning. So you want to add them in passing and not necessarily as landing notes. So what this does is it makes your lines sound more colorful without sounding dissonant or random. Let me show you an example using the kind of G shape that lives here between the 7th and 10th frets. There's our pentatonic, and here's the 7-note scale. So, do you hear how those extra notes, they just add a little bit of sparkle, a little bit of kind of freshness? Now, let me show you how not to use them. So the 4 of a major chord doesn't sound good when you just land on it without intention. That's G in this case, right? And it's funny because it's a chord in the progression, but when I hit it on the D chord, it's just not that good. Wow, right? That's in the scale. But if you just decorate with it, a la Dickie Betts, you can make it sound awesome. Now the pentatonic scale is kind of your anchor. The full scale you want to use as, decoration or spice. Still coming kind of back in with a little half-step slide. So let's look at how it sounds to add in that major 7th rather than that 4. It can be a little dissonant, but it really does sound kind of good. So in this case, it's, a C sharp. It really adds a lot of fresh and interesting flavor. This type of practice avoids that kind of scale running nonsense that many of us are used to. I wanted to take a quick moment to introduce the sponsor of today's video, my newest course, Creative Solo System. Inspired by the concepts in this lesson, I spent the last 10 years creating a step-by-step process to gain confidence and clarity on the fretboard to create solos and creative guitar playing that doesn't sound scaly and boring. With short solos, licks, lines, and interactive step-by-step lessons, you'll be soloing and riffing with confidence in no time. As a thank you for watching this video, click the link in the description or use coupon code CAGEDMUSIC and get $80 off Creative Solo System today. Step 3. If your solos sound like you're just wandering or noodling, the issue probably isn't just the notes, it's the rhythm. Great phrasing starts with rhythmic control. So here's actually a game I use all the time with students. You set a rhythmic rule, so to speak, while you improvise. You might say, okay, cool, I'm only allowed to play quarter notes. 2, 3, 4. Or only eighth notes. Or only triplets. Or sixteenths. This forces you to lock in with your rhythmic phrasing, and it builds real-time musical awareness. As a basic approach, I encourage folks to just improvise using those simple tools. But I'm actually going to show you something even a little extra cool. So I'm going to show you how to use a rhythmic constraint, just building it from kind of your internal musician, from kind of vocalizing. So what do I mean? So what I'm going to do is I'll turn on the track and I'm just going to hum, speak, or mime a rhythm out loud. And then what I'll do is try to mimic this rhythm on my guitar, inserting whatever notes I want from the scale. Let's use the E bass shape at the 10th fret. And yeah, it's important for me to bring the awareness of, the pentatonic scale versus the full 7-note scale, and make sure I'm kind of like landing on the stronger notes that are in the pentatonic. So here's a little rhythm that I might try. Da, 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 do, da. Okay? Let me play it again. Same rhythm again. Pretty cool. Okay, I might kind of rhythmicize a new one. Da 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 da. These types of rhythm exercises build a different approach to phrasing. I challenge you and challenge yourself to do variations with them. You'll kind of be blown away by how much connecting to the rhythm rather than just thinking note choice actually builds your solos and improv skills. Step number 4, there are 5 techniques that are a color palette of an expressive soloist. No matter what shape you're in, try isolating one technique at a time to build control and creativity. Let's go through them quickly. So, with slides, you want to try, sliding into note from below, maybe even a half step, or the scale note below, or above. And you want to try variations with different rhythm. What about hammer-ons? Snuck a little pull off in there. You want to play connected phrases across the strings and make sure they're sounding really nice together. How about pull-offs? Experiment with both fast and slow releases. Bends? Always bend somewhere meaningful. Zero bends to nowhere. That's one of my rules with all my students. The best bends are always to the next note of the scale. And finally, vibrato. So you want to adjust the speed and the depth or the width depending upon what you're playing over. This is kind of a sweet track, right? The goal here isn't to sound perfect, it's to explore and build fluency. So I would challenge you to take just 1 to 2 minutes per technique. Use the backing track and focus. Notice what's working and notice what needs some help. Step 5, phrasing games. If you want to stop sounding like you're just practicing scales, this is the biggest shift. So start phrasing like a singer. Here are 3 simple phrasing improv games that will instantly level up your solos. The first one is hand on, hand off. Let me show you. Take your hand off the guitar between phrases. This forces space and prevents run-on sentences. It's almost like you are taking a breath between phrases and will immediately get you to reset a bit. Okay, number 2, repetition. As an exercise to get more connectedness in your playing, play a lick, repeat it 3 to 5 times before moving on. Kind of like this. So this trains commitment and theme development, and honestly, it's tough at first. So you can try this in any of the shapes, but maybe we'll try it down in the G shape here between the 7th and the 10th fret. We'll play a lick, repeat it 4 times. This will really help. The third tip here, a little bit of call and response. Play a question phrase and then answer it. My recommendation is to try ascending on the call, going up, and descending on the response. I also usually make the response a touch shorter, like this. the response was much, much shorter. Maybe even just 3 notes on the response. Now that you've opened up your phrasing inside each of the cage shapes, watch this video next to connect a system that helps you play across the entire guitar neck using the simple but extremely powerful 3-fret shift.